The meeting is now live and you may begin.
Okay, welcome everybody to the July 28th Hawaiian Garb Council meeting. So with that, Madam City Clerk, can we call the roll, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor John Caposcia,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rochelle Arizmendi,
Present.
Councilmember Jean Goss,
Here.
Councilmember John Harabedian.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum and may conduct city business.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilmember John Harabedian is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and inspiration. So I would just ask everybody to mute their phones or their screen while he gives the Pledge of Allegiance. That way we don't talk over each other.
Great. Thanks, Mayor. And I don't know if there's going to be a feed of, there you go. And put your right hand over your heart and stand if you can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. And my inspiration will be two public service announcements. The Dodgers are playing the Astros. The game started about 15 minutes ago and it's 0-0, but it's Dodger season officially now and the world feels somewhat normal, even though we're playing in empty stadiums. So it's weird, but whenever Dodger baseball's on at the same time as council meetings, it feels like normalcy again. And then my other PSA is going to be, I'm going to put on my mask because you're not going to see us for the next month because we have August off. But I want to make sure that everyone who's watching this and all of us take August very seriously about keeping those masks on, because I think August is really going to be a critical month if you look at where we are in terms of COVID numbers and the trends of making sure we kind of curb the latest spike and the trend that's really going in the opposite direction. And I think the science is pretty clear that if we all wear masks and if we're all serious about this on a daily basis, I think we can hopefully nip this thing in the bud and do what other countries are doing a little bit more successfully than us and actually getting these numbers down. So in August, even though you're not going to be hearing from us, just wear your masks. Make sure if you're out seeing people, you have one of these in your pocket, you have one of these in your car, and just throw it on. And I think that that is going to be something that we're just going to need to get really comfortable with. I know that I have days when moments of forgetting it, but I think the more that we can do this and just become, more comfortable and regularly wearing them, the better we're all going to be and the more safe we are going to be. So that's my two inspiration, invocation, public service announcements before we start the meeting. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of the meeting agenda. Everybody okay with the agenda?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
okay, Madam City Clerk.
Sorry. Mayor John Caposcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Arizmendi,
Aye.
Councilmember Goss,
Aye.
Councilmember Harabedian.
Aye.
The motion to approve the agenda as presented was passed by unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of meeting minutes.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk.
Mayor Caposcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Arizmendi,
Aye.
Councilmember Goss,
Aye.
Councilmember Harabedian.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 14th as presented was passed by unanimous vote.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mayor and City Council reports. Who'd like to go?
I don't have.
Mayor,
anything
I
to
have
report.
no report.
Mayor, I have no report either. Thank you.
I just have one real quick report as a member of the Board of Trustees for the Sanitation District number 15. The general manager presented some pretty interesting information. The sanitation district samples the sewage for the presence of COVID. And since April, or I think it was right around Memorial Day, after that, you could see that the curve just spiked up radically. And the data that he presented was as of July 10th. And of the two treatment plants they had sampled, one had started to taper off downward and the other had just started to level off. So the data is going to be published every 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to Friday to see, because that'll give us a pretty good indication where we are. It's sort of like, even though it's a little bit late, but the amount of COVID in the sewage is really the indicator of how much is out there in the county. So anyway, I'll let you all know how that reads out on Friday when I check it. With that, I don't have anything else. So, okay, so now let's open it up for public comment. So if anybody wishes to comment on anything that is not on the agenda, now is the time to dial in and we'll hear your comments. So we'll wait a minute while people rush to the phone to dial in.
Mr. Mayor, it does not appear that anyone is currently calling in for a public comment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malone. Okay, I'll close public comment, and now we have on the agenda is a presentation of our 2020 Sierra Madre Public Library Bookmark Contest winners.
Hello. I will be keeping my mask on because I am actually in the library and I am being respectful of my coworkers. It's Layla Regan. I'm the children's librarian at the Sierra Madre Library. You might remember me from such summer programming as Story Time to Go and Aloha Friday. I'm excited to talk about this year's bookmark contest. This year's theme was Sierra Madre Heroes, and we couldn't have predicted a better theme for 2020. The entries were diverse in the heroes depicted, and all were a delight to see and read. Despite the challenges this year, we had 12 amazing winners for the bookmark contest in the following groups. We had kindergarten and first graders. Oh, not just yet. we had kindergarten and first graders, second grade, third grade, fourth and fifth grades, sixth grade, and seventh and eighth grade. So we had winners for each of those categories. And special thanks to our sponsors. We had the Sierra Madre Fire Association, the Sierra Madre Community Foundation, Sierra Madre Women's Club, the Mountain View News, and of course, the Friends of the Sierra Madre Library for making this year's bookmark contest possible. So now I'm going to present all the winners. So we have for our kindergarten and first grade winners, we have Ellen Thomas as first place for her Sierra Madre Teachers bookmark, and Zena Chow won second place for her Sierra Madre Stays Home bookmark. In second grade, we have Autumn No in first place for her Recycle Workers bookmark, and Sage Alva won second place for her Search and Rescue bookmark. For third grade, we had Ann Garrett win first place for her Sierra Madre City Staff bookmark, and Acadia Shula won second place for her Sierra Madre Elementary School Principal bookmark. In fourth and fifth grade, we had Emma Noel Abajan won first place for her Sierra Madre Search and Rescue bookmark, with Juliet Courageous in second place for her Postal Workers bookmark. For our sixth grade winners, we had Kaya Masuda in first place for her Service Dogs bookmark, and Amy, who won second place for her Sierra Madre Library bookmark. You see all there. Some of them wear masks, some of them didn't. It was very cute. Finally, we have the 7th and 8th grade winners. First place was Chloe Tubbs for her Sierra Madre Mothers bookmark. And second place was Peyton Thomas for her Sierra Madre Veterans bookmark. And from all of these wonderful and varied bookmarks, 4 of the first place winners have been selected to be printed. We see them there, and I also have them here. The mayor selected Emma Noel Albajane's Sierra Madre Search and Rescue, so that is this one. The city manager selected Ellen Thomas's Sierra Madre Teachers, that one. The Friends of the Library president selected Ann Garrett's Sierra Madre City staff. You can see this one also has someone selling masks here in the corner. And the library trustee chair selected Chloe Tubbs' Sierra Madre Mothers. So you can see that there. The printed bookmarks will be available at the library starting Saturday, August 8th. Many of the bookmarks will be going out during the Friends of the Sierra Madre Library's drive-through Best Used Book Sale. It's a very long title, but it's for a very good cause. It'll be running from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the library's parking lot. Stop by the library for printed bookmarks or drive through our parking lot and grab a bag of books for only $5. We hope to see some of you for a social safe distance on Saturday, August 8th. Thank you to all of those who participated and submitted their bookmarks, and congratulations to all the winners.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Reagan. Nice presentation. And again, these bookmarks, I encourage everybody to snap them up. They're going to be collector items worth a lot of money someday. They're really beautiful. So thank you. Great program again. And thanks to the donors that made it possible. Okay, let's move on to the consent calendar. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a number of items tonight. Item A, approval of resolution 20-54 of the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre approving certain demands. Item B, fiscal year 2020 through 2021 budget. Item C, fiscal year 2020 through 2021 purchase orders over $45,000. Item D, second reading by title only of ordinance 1428, amending chapter 17.34 affordable housing of title 17, which is zoning of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code to conform to the state density bonus law. Item E, second reading by title only of ordinance 1429, amending title 2 of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code regarding city commissions. Item F, consideration of resolution 20-50, designation of voting delegate and alternate for the 2020 League of California Cities Annual Conference and Business Meeting. Item G, consideration of award of construction contract for the Kirsting Court Refresh Project number CS 71901 for an amount not to exceed $745,500. Item H, fiscal year 2020 through 21 city fee schedule revisions. Item I, direction to the Planning Commission regarding Sierra Madre Municipal Code Chapter 17.36, which is the C Commercial Code, Chapter 17.68, which is parking, and Section 14.60.041, which is the Density Design Review Permit. Item J, consideration of resolution 20-47, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre regarding Sierra Madre Police Department and responsible policing. And the last one, K, consideration of resolution 20-53, a resolution of the City Council authorizing the issuance of outdoor facility permits to qualifying businesses. And that concludes the consent items.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Okay, are there any questions for staff on any of the consent calendar items?
Mayor, I have a question about item G. I'm just curious more than anything here. Reading through this, they're going to be working down on Kirsten Court, and I'm wondering what has there been any consideration about our outdoor restaurants in that area as that construction goes on, and what can be done to mitigate impacts on them?
See, Councilmember Goss, the way we're attempting to phase the construction of the refresh is to always have that north side sidewalk open, and to the extent possible, never to have both sides of the Kirsten Court closed at the same time on that drive-through area. So for the most part, we'll be able to allow patrons to those businesses on the sidewalk. If there's construction that's going to cause debris or anything like that, then we can talk about moving those restaurant patios potentially to the other side. The Public Works Director and I have talked a lot about what our businesses have been going through, are currently going through, and trying to make sure that this refresh project has the minimal impact on all of the businesses, including the patio restaurants that you've mentioned. So we have given it consideration. And we're trying to work our schedule and our work locations around the needs of the businesses.
Thank you. I'm just, what they've been through this year, I just hate to put any other possible impediments in front of them that we can get around. I'm confident in what you're telling me. Thank you.
Okay, other questions? No questions? Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Anybody in the public that would like to comment on any of the items on the agenda, please call in.
Mayor, please stand by. We'll queue up the callers.
Pardon me, Mr.
Please
Milan?
stand by. Please stand by.
Oh, there is somebody, okay.
Mr. Mayor, there does not appear that there are any actual callers for public comment at this time.
Okay, we'll close the public comment. And do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, if I can I just make a comment?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on item J. I know that there's been some back and forth with the police association and the city, and questions that came up in the initial discussion of this. But I just wanted to recognize the police department, our public safety. I know that at this time, considering the unrest around public safety, there could be a lot of question about our public safety and our police department. But I just wanted to thank them. I think from at least the responses that we've heard from, at least that I've heard from residents, that we really have had a police department of really good integrity and mutual respect for residents and people they've come across. I do want to thank them and appreciate the fact that we're able to still recognize how important this work is in this resolution, and to recognize there's still areas of improvement. So I just wanted to make that comment before we voted on the resolution.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Any comments? Okay. Can somebody like to make a motion?
So moved. I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk.
Mayor Kaposha,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Arizmendi,
Aye.
Councilmember Goss,
Aye.
Councilmember Harabedian.
Yes.
The motion to approve consent items 1A through 1K as presented was passed by unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is discussion on consideration of ordinance 1430, adding chapter 8.19 pool maintenance to the Sierra Madre Municipal Code.
Mayor, this will be our management analyst, Sophia Kovnowski, giving the presentation.
Okay,
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So up for discussion this evening is consideration of Ordinance 1430. Staff is recommending that Council introduce and give first reading of this ordinance by title only, adding Chapter 819 Pool Maintenance to Title 8 of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code. So this ordinance is being proposed as recommended by the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. This was following a survey conducted by the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. The district found that 18% of the pools that they surveyed were likely to be breeding grounds for mosquitoes. So this ordinance would grant the city manager or designated staff a formalized administrative procedure to investigate, identify, and abate likely breeding grounds for mosquitoes in conjunction with the Mosquito and Vector Control District. This ordinance also sets forth penalty amounts for administrative citations, and these are in compliance with the city's standard citation schedule. There is no fiscal impact associated with the adoption of this ordinance. It's mainly meant to establish enforcement procedures and ease our collaboration with the Mosquito and Vector Control District, and really to prevent the further spread of vector-borne diseases. At this point, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
hey, any questions?
A quick one. Thank you, Sophia, for the presentation. It's just, to me, this is a good idea. I think we should do it. I'm just curious as to how we think we'll actually, in practice, enforce this. I mean, are we just gonna rely on neighbors calling in and telling us that there's an abandoned pool? Or do we actually think that we'll have staff that will be going around somehow monitoring pools? I just don't think it'd be realistic to do the latter. So how do we see this actually playing out?
Sure, I don't believe that this is going to take up a lot of staff time. How it's meant to go is that the Mosquito and Vector Control District, they do these studies and they also send out violation notices. So it's really, if someone fails to respond to those violation notices, they could get in contact with the city and the city could contact those residents further.
And Mayor, thank you for that. Mayor, do you know how, does the district actually send people out just to randomly check, or how do they usually get a violation notice?
It's well, it's one of two ways. It's a complaint that they'll investigate, but a lot of it is they do aerial surveys and they spot the green pools. So the Mosquito and Vector Control developed a new process now. Instead of going out and dispatching on every one of these, they just send a notice to the owner asking them to provide verification. So all they have to do is like take a picture now that they cleaned it up and send it back, and they'll release it. If they don't respond, or they're, either by not responding at all or not cooperating with it, then it's real simple. Then they can just notify our city enforcement staff and they can just go out and take care of it. So, I mean, there's two ways to do it. One is, again, reading the procedures, and maybe I should let city manager describe this, but my understanding is, there's a procedure of how to contact people, and you have to make every effort to do that. But ultimately, you can go in and order abatement yourself, and you can issue fines. So one way or the other, you're authorized to clean it up.
Makes sense.
All right.
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay.
I just
No,
want to apologize on this too, because I'm a member of the mosquito board. I'm also a trustee on the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. And I just completely forgot about this until we just had a recent violation in Sierra Madre on that has to do with a contractor dispute, and the problem wasn't getting taken care of. So apparently nobody was following up on the mosquito and vector control, creating this ordinance and then tracking to see that it got implemented. So none of the cities were really doing it. So now we're doing it tonight, and then Arcadia is going to do it. Then we're going to be tracking everybody else to make sure that they do this as well. So this should help at least to alleviate the problem somewhat.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, with that, I'll open it up for public comment.
Mr. Mayor, give me a brief minute while I identify any callers.
Okay. I might add that I also noticed on Facebook that there are complaints about the mosquitoes too. So, this potentially could help. I mean, a lot of the problems are from green pools, but, we're trying on the mosquito control district to increase public awareness of what you have to do about these smaller Aedes mosquitoes. And it's a challenge just to get people to understand what their responsibility is to try to dump any standing source of water. Because, I mean, I see it around town where there's dishes of water that are out for pets or wildlife or whatever, but that's a classic breeding ground for these Aedes mosquitoes.
Mr. Mayor, you do not currently have any callers for public comment.
Okay, great. We'll close public comment. So any other discussion?
I would, Mr. Mayor, I'd selfishly like to hear a little bit. I mean, the mosquitoes seem to be just incredibly bad in town. And I think, is there anything that that you would recommend or that the staff at the district is recommending to abate it? Is it spraying? Is it other than just, obviously if there's standing water, getting rid of that, but it seems to be, maybe it's just every year, it seems to be getting worse. So is there anything that we should be doing as residents to, I guess, just protect ourselves?
Well, yeah, see, again, the problem is the invasive Aedes, which made its first appearance about 3 or 4 years ago. And when I joined the board, it was only in a couple areas. Within a year, basically, it was just all over the place. And the problem is they'll sit in a little bit of water like a bottle cap. And even if it dries out, the eggs are still viable. And when water comes back in, they'll breed again. So it's just, people just have to inspect their property and remove any source of water. It's a lot more challenging than the regular mosquito that we're used to having around here. So that's really all you can do. I mean, you can call the mosquito district and they will send somebody out and help to educate you and your neighbors and pass some things around as well. But there's really not that much they can do about it, is the bottom line. So there's some new technology available to release sterilized male mosquitoes, and the production of that is very, very efficient and cost effective. But the distribution is very expensive because you have to drive around in vans and blow it out everywhere. But that's the only known way to control these, and it's really cost prohibitive to do it at this time. So I think it's something we really have to live with, and really it's discussion on the board. It's more of a customer education. That's our best hope for managing it. So it's either that, then the recommendation is to wear repellent when you're outdoors, long sleeves and repellent. That's all we've got. I'm sorry to report, but there just is really no other way to manage it.
Yep, that's my understanding too.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, Madam City, we have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Okay,
Second it.
okay, Madam City Clerk, if you can call for the vote.
Mayor Kaposha,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Arizmendi,
Aye.
Councilmember Goss,
Aye.
Councilmember Harabedian.
Yes.
The motion to approve the adoption of this ordinance 1430 as presented was passed by unanimous vote.
okay, thank you. Okay, discussion item number 2, authorization to spend $51,580 for the second round of the COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program.
Mayor, this will be Management Analyst James Carlson giving the presentation.
And good evening, Mayor and City Council. The next discussion item here is the authorization to spend up to $51,580 in Community Development Block Grant funds and this is for the second round of the Small Business Grant Program. Staff is recommending that the City Council go ahead and authorize the expenditures, again, not to exceed $51,580 for this program. As part of the Sierra Madre Cares initiative, staff launched the COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program on May 21st with the use of its existing $141,280 CDBG funds. A total of 44 local businesses qualified with the CDBG requirements, and each received $3,000 in assistance. Staff is now seeking authorized to move forward with the second round of the program using the $9,280 that was left over from the previous program and $42,300 that became available this fiscal year on July 1st. It's important to note that this second round is going to be a competitive round, and awards will go to those who can demonstrate extraordinary loss of business or even the inability to do much business at all. And with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carlson. What questions?
Mayor, I have a question. Management Analyst Carlson. I just wanted to find out, since these were due on the 22nd, how do applications look? How many did we receive?
We have an excess of 30. There were a couple of small pieces of paper from the applicants that I was asking them for again. Any applications that I received after the deadline will still be received, but they'll be noted that they were received late for consideration.
And does a late receipt have a point penalty to their ranking?
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit more subjective than the last one. So we're going to take that into effect. There's 4 members of the Administrative Services Departments that are going to get together and discuss, the extraordinary need of any of these businesses. And I don't believe that a late submission is an automatic disqualifier. It's not with the CDBG. It was our deadline, so we will consider those submissions.
Okay, thank you.
And just to be clear, if you were a part of the first grant program and received a grant, you're still going to apply and receive a grant for this, right?
That is correct, and we tried to make that pretty obvious on the guidelines that we sent out.
Okay, cool. Okay, no other questions? All right, let's open it up for public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Give me just one brief minute while I queue up any callers.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, it does not appear you have any callers for public comment at this time.
Okay, let's bring it back to council for discussion. Any other comments or discussion on this? Well, I'll just make a comment. I think it's great we're doing this. I think the first round was very successful and very well appreciated from what I can tell. And, so far, I don't think we've had any restaurants go out of business. We had a couple other shops closed.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can just keep this going and just prevent anybody else from closing now and just stay in business long enough to, just survive it until we can get back to some semblance of normal again. So I think this is great. I mean, this is really a benefit to the entire community to keep our downtown vibrant. So. Okay, any other comments? We have a motion.
I'll move to approve the authorization to spend the CDBG money of $51,580 for a second round of small business grant program.
I'll second it.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, call for the vote.
Mayor Kaposha,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Arizmendi,
Aye.
Councilmember Goss,
Aye.
Councilmember Harabedian.
Aye.
The motion to authorize expenditures not to exceed $51,580 in CBDG funds for the COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program was passed by unanimous vote.
Thank you. Okay, discussion on number 3, outdoor city council meeting in September.
Mayor, this will be our IT manager, Oscar Milan, giving the presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council. The IT department was tasked with figuring out the technical aspects of the outside meeting. These are logistic challenges as well as technical challenges that we had to face. I quickly enlisted the help of Community Services Department and our Public Works Department, which consisted of Ms. Rebecca Silva and her team, as well as Mr. James Carlson. On the IT side, we also have Mr. Christian Delgado. And just like to quickly summarize the 3 main challenges that we faced. First, we need to solve the challenge of internet connectivity because we have to broadcast the council meeting to our website and our channel 3. Second, we have logistic challenges, including the layout for council, staff, and the public, as well as precautions for the public, and also selecting an appropriate location for us to have the meeting. And then last, we also have audio projection, which includes sound engineering and the equipment necessary in order to conduct the meeting. So once we identified the challenges, we quickly went to address the said challenges. First and foremost, we selected the band shell in the park as the best location for us to conduct the meeting. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is proximity to City Hall, where we can have an access point that allows us the connectivity we need, as well as power and great acoustics in that location. To solve some of the connectivity issues, Christian Delgado deployed a brand new high-powered access point so that we could have really good connection for the meeting. And that seems to have given us a very strong foundation for the broadcasting side of things. Also, in terms of the location, we found that at the band shell, we would have enough space to distance staff. This would include staff and city council, a few feet apart, each with their own microphone, in order to maintain social distancing. And then lastly, we also identified that the best path forward would be to contract out the sound aspects that has to do with equipment and microphones. This includes a setup and breakdown with a trusted vendor at a cost of $650, one-time fee per meeting. And we found that this would allow us to rent the equipment and set up the equipment with minor issues. We've also taken into consideration the aspects of weather, and we are ready to set up pop-up tents if weather required us to do so. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions related to this meeting and look forward to your feedback.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I assume that we could get this done in time for the next meeting in September?
Yes, that is correct. That is our plan.
other questions? Okay, I have a question. I'm just wondering on this. What if we were to do this? I'm just trying to think ahead how long this COVID thing is going to be with us. And I'm just wondering, would we be looking at this as kind of a trial or just a one-off type of thing if we were to consider this going forward well into next year? Is there a way what would the equipment cost? Would this be worth it to invest in the equipment? I have no idea what this costs. $650. I'm sure a lot of that is for the staff time to set this up. But is there any kind of an option to purchase equipment or anything, or have we looked into that at all?
Yeah, we initially, our thoughts were that we don't have sufficient equipment. We didn't have an indication if this was going to be a regular occurrence. I'm sure there is a point where if we begin to do a lot of our presentations outdoors, then the investment would likely make sense. But that is certainly something that we could look into and have some answers for you. At this time, we did not have enough equipment. This means not enough microphones, not enough speakers to conduct the meeting. So the quickest way that we could ramp up would be to use this vendor, but we can certainly look at purchasing in the future.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, again, think ahead here. Who knows how long this thing's going to be with us and I guess that's part of when we get to the discussion, I'd like to hear from my colleagues on, whether we should consider to start thinking about maybe conducting more town halls or different things outdoors like this, because I don't know, frankly, how long we just keep doing things on Zoom. I know people struggle with it a little bit and it's uncomfortable for people. And maybe this is a way to help. I mean, look, everybody being cooped up as they are, a city council meeting might be a big attraction. People might want to come just to get out of the house and do something different. So anyway, so we'll talk about that after we get some public comment on this. But
Mayor, one more area we see if Oscar can address. One of the issues that we've been looking at is the ability to do the live stream on Channel 3 and through Foothills Communications or Foothills Media when we are broadcasting from outside, from not our normal location. So I don't know if IT has solved that or not, but if you could try and provide a little guidance on that, Oscar, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. So the way that we have figured out this issue or made sure that it works, essentially once we are connected with a Zoom room, this would be a dedicated camera that focuses in on council, and that feed would be then sent over to the live feed the same way that we channel the council meeting now into the council chambers. So as long as there was an internet connection that we could tap into on the outside meeting, that would then be picked up by joining on the live feed in the council chambers now, which then feeds into our channel 3. So that aspect of things has been sorted out. I do want to mention one item that still is left out or still left to test, I should say, and that is that because we are broadcasting the audio over speakers, there's going to be some tricky mechanisms that we'll have to sort out as the Zoom room picks up that audio. So there may be some specific tuning that we'll have to do in order to get good quality audio on the other side. But to the extent that we've solved the broadcasting issue, I think we have a pretty good handle on that.
okay, shall we open it up for public comment?
Mr. Mayor, please give me a minute to queue up any callers if there are any.
Okay.
And it does not appear that we have any callers for public comment at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, man, I'm sure I was thinking of 5 or 6 people would call in and say, yeah, do this, do this. Okay, so let's bring it back for discussion. What thoughts do you have?
Mr. Mayor? Oh,
Go ahead.
oh, okay. Mr. Mayor, no, I actually think you bring up a really good point. If there can be investment, whether it's for city council, for any uses for the city. And again, I don't know what that amount is. I wonder if we can even propose a not to exceed amount since we potentially will be going dark in August. But I think it's great. It's $650 we'll be paying to someone else. If we could make that investment for a purchase and again, for future use, not just at city council, but for other city use, I think it might make sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think my view is it's a good idea that we're doing this. So thanks to Councilmember Goss for agendizing this. I'm really curious to see how it goes. I obviously am very selfishly, I am looking for a change of pace. So I think this is going to be great to have this meeting like this. And I think that a lot of people will benefit from it. If it seems like it's smooth sailing, I'm very open to considering doing it. Maybe not for every meeting, but at least maybe once a month. And if so, I agree with Mayor Pro Tem. I think that some long-term investment to make it easier would be smart. I am cognizant of just how hard this is going to be on staff and the broadcasting and everything else. So, and there is going to be the added difficulty of making sure that the crowd is socially distanced, and hopefully we can iron that out. So, but I think it's a great idea, and I'm hoping it works well, because I'd like to see it work in the future.
Okay, Councilmember Goss.
Yeah, I proposed it kind of selfishly. I'm getting tired of these Zoom meetings too. Miss hanging out with you guys, literally. But really, in reality, what piqued my interest in this was a meeting I had with a neighborhood group a couple weeks ago. And I've heard this from other people in the last month or two in different ways. But they basically said that they don't really feel like it's a legitimate input to do a public comment call-in when we're doing the business of the city. They feel like they ought to be able to see us eyeball to eyeball, human to human. They feel like they would have a bigger impact when they address us. And I think that's right, if we can do it feasibly. And it seems, I think Oscar is telling us we can. And I do agree with Mayor Pro Tem that I would like to see us do this as long as the weather is accommodating, and maybe some sort of investment in equipment will have some positive impact there. But it just seems like I think the public would benefit from this, so I support it.
Okay, initially, like the cost of it, $650, I balked at that and just questioned whether we were just amusing ourselves by doing this. But I really think we should do it. Just again, it's just, if nothing else, an experiment, because we don't know how long this COVID is going to be with us. And yeah, like you folks, I've had the same feedback that people aren't really comfortable commenting online, doing it this way. So with the uncertainty of how long this could possibly be with us, I mean, I'm not banking on a vaccine to just wipe this out quickly come January. I mean, we could be faced with this for a long time. So I think this, and just going forward, we don't know how this COVID is just going to change our habits. And, this could be a good thing to do more outdoor events and be able to broadcast it and, handle things this way, especially with the town halls coming up. Maybe we can do a planning commission meeting this way, when we discuss the monastery and things like that. So, after thinking about it that way, I think it'd be $650 well spent just to see if this is going to work. And then I would just leave it up to city manager and staff to research what our options are if we were to do this on an ongoing basis in the meantime. But I'm okay with the one-time thing of doing it for $650 and just take it from there, see where it goes. Okay, so I think we're all in a consensus here. So this isn't an item we have to have a motion on, is it?
No, Mayor, we have direction.
Yeah, cool. Okay. All right, great. Are there any other items to add to a future agenda?
Move to adjourn.
Okay. All right, with that, I will gavel the meeting closed and we are adjourned.
Who seconded it? Who seconded that?
Heartbeating.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great August.